We're not
Instead of saying what
proactive.
is ours, what is our law? Okay, and so we're sort of, we've got one foot in the ship and one foot in the canoe. So you want to have this Canadian structure over here, but you don't want to have this one over there. Okay, but you can't have it both ways. You can't sit on the picket fence,
No, you
particularly if
can't.
it's wrought iron.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
hurt.
it. Yeah,
It hurts.
that
It's
hurt,
painful.
yeah.
A
Yeah.
little painful. But all I know is as a community member, as a female, as a mother myself, that growing up and historically speaking, I can't speak of what's happened hundreds of years ago or whatever. I can only speak that when I was brought up as a child, growing up, my parents always said to me that, you know, like you want to marry an Indian guy. Didn't necessarily mean Mohawk or whatever, but you want to marry an Indian guy because if you don't, then you're gonna have to make that choice. You're making that choice for your children to be half, and then to further confuse them. I mean, as a woman, as a Mohawk woman, that was my choice, to either choose to be with, you know, like a Mohawk man or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and my parents always said that to me. You know, like if you marry somebody not from here, then you go with them where they are.
Mm-hmm.
That was always just, you know.
But was it in any of that, Christy, was that ever framed, you'll lose your rights?
Mm-hmm.
It's about identity.
Mm-hmm.
It's about who your children are. What's best for the community? What's best for your children?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they're in this
Yeah.
netherland.
Yeah.
They're not one and they're not the other.
Okay, just hold that thought, and we'll be back right after these messages. And welcome back to Straight Talk. So Ross, finish your thought.
Well, the point is what Chrissy is talking about the things that she was told and taught when she was growing up. Okay, about what the things to think about when you choose to marry, choose your life mate or choose your mate, who the other parent of your children will be. Was it ever framed in, oh, you'll lose your rights? I don't think so. I think the issue is about identity. Mm-hmm. Those children, you know what? They're in between, huh? They're not here and they're not there. They're not going way on that level. And I know that's a very difficult thing, you know, to say, well, because they walk in between. Well, who are they then? Who are they?
And I know, like as a mother, I didn't want to do that to my child.
There was some discussion around that last night. I had read I guess the notes from Jessica. She was there on our behalf, Jessica Deere, and she had taken some notes, and I read that about what some of the tables were talking about, and that was some of them about, you know, being a quarter, being a half, being this, what, you know, where's the identity?
Right.
And then that's what people are starting to identify each other as. I mean, and you know that because people say that. They'll, shut up, you're only half, you know, like, or your mother's white or your father's white. It's none of your goddamn business. It doesn't matter if you lived here all your life or whether you contributed to this community or not. It's just shut up, know your place, and you don't have enough blood.
But again, at the same time, there's like supposedly people that are maybe saying stuff like that are supposedly 100%, you know, and what do they know about their culture? What do they know about their tradition?
Wow.
Do they have their language? Probably not. You know, like, so where do you draw the line? Where do you turn around and say, well, okay, well, if we're not going to go by blood quantum, we're going to go by culture. How many people are going to be able to make it? Based on culture and tradition.
I don't know what the answer is.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean. No, I'm just.
But it's got to
these
be
are questions
citizenship or something. I mean, I know that they
you know
talked about.
But what is citizenship going to be based on? How many volunteer hours you do in the community? Again, as a person that volunteers a lot in this community,
What's your
All
thought,
right.
Billy?
we're gonna be.
Well,
I'm gonna be here with like 25 other people.
You know, one of the things that we should consider is the overall plan of the melting pot. The melting pot is in good, alive, and well. And I mean by that is that the assimilative policy of the governments are in place. Again, it's the land issue.
Always has been.
It's all the time, and that's the bottom line. So when you're dealing with something like that, the whole issue keeps surfacing of oh well, you're a quarter, you're a half, or your other mathematical fractions of who you are. But then again, from the issue of survival as a people, the distinct, I guess, recognition of you as a Oklahoma becomes a necessity to know your culture, to know your language, to know your history, and to follow, I guess, the understanding of the collectivity. You know, and all these things are subsumed so that it doesn't become part and parcel of our daily lives now, of the next generation. And it's working because the organized confusion is continuously being implemented.
And it's not, look, Billy, you'll agree with this, but it's not just one thing. Like, one of the things I keep hearing, you know, in this issue right now, to evict or not to evict. There was Tracy Deer started out with a petition to cease and desist the evictions, 147 signatures. Okay, that's a number. Okay, and what are we arguing? No, we're arguing. Okay, for the first time, it is bizarre to me that we're arguing about that we should say be tolerant enough to allow anybody to come live in Kahnawake. Anybody.
Yeah, we're very close.
And you can't help who you fall in love with, and everything else. And it's all about citizenship. And look, okay, let's define citizenship then. What exactly are you talking about? Okay, what model are you talking here? Are you talking Canadian model? Are you talking what? Longhouse model? Which model are you talking about? Because I say there's a difference between citizenship and identity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, were you born into a clan?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
our show, sorry, I just
Yeah.
didn't want to cut you off. Our show is winding down a bit.
Okay.
We don't have much time, so.
All right, so I just want to I'll close out one thought on that. And one of the things that's kind of disturbing to me, and I think it's something we all need to think about, you know, because I'm an artist, like, in a way. You know, I paint pictures of Indians
In a way,
that look like
you are or
Indians.
you're not.
No, I'm an artist. Okay?
I'm not.
Okay? So I paint pictures of Indians that look like Indians, you know? And if they don't look like Indians, people don't believe them to be Indians. You know, and look, that's not to insult anybody like who has blonde hair, red hair in the community. That's a fact of our history. But here we are, we're arguing for the first time to say, at least some of us, that it's okay, let's bleed us out. And you don't want to go back, tie it up, the Indian Act. It had one purpose from the beginning, and that's to do away with us as a people, one way or another. Either bleed us out of existence, or assimilate us out of existence,
Chris?
and we have to do that.
I think I'll go and I'll follow it up, and
Yeah, go.
I certainly believe that that is the ulterior motive of justifiable occupation of the stolen goods, you know. And so what the devious British mind came about when colonialism started after the defeat of the French regime. That's when colonialism came in. They weren't boss for 500 years over the Iroquois people were. But anyway, that being said, the whole issue is that, and I've used this term in many places I've traveled, if they get rid of the landlord, they will no longer have to pay rent. And so they get rid of us, they get rid of our children, our grandchildren, and the most important thing under anybody's, I guess, responsibility is survival. And survival is the continuity of the family. And that's what it's all about. The most important thing is our next generations. And that's what I try to live.
Chris, you get the last word in the closing.
The last word in the closing.
Amen.
No, I totally agree with you, Billy. When it comes down to it, it's like if we look even Indian Act and colonialism and everything, the governments want to get rid of us basically, and that's what they want to do. And the Indian Act is merely a way that they've tried to do this, and it's up to us to be able to continue the line and continue our survival
withstand
as a
this,
people.
yeah, and
Yes,
withstand
so
the
it's going to be,
oppression.
and it's up to us as determined as a nation to be able to continue.
The answer's here, here, there, and within the whole community.
Right.
Not the outside.
No,
And
No,
you're
we
right,
determine.
and let's get something that's gonna work for the whole community.
all right, and that about wraps up our program, Straight Talk. All right, we hope you enjoyed the first one, and we'll have tons more, and I'm sure it's not the last that you're gonna hear on this issue, and it's not gonna be the last that you hear from us. Thank you for watching,
Yaonkoa.
On and go.
and thank you guys for being here.